Hey everybody, I am so excited today to let you know we are live from the Big Chicken Franchise Conference from Las Vegas. And because Josh blew me off on Friday, I decided to get on a plane and hunt him down and find him so I could have this podcast.
So wrong.
It was
honest,
definitely,
but wrong.
It is 100% honest.
Well, thank you for coming here. I wanted you to be here more than anything. So if that's what it took, not having this podcast last Friday, then I'm glad because you're here with me together in Las Vegas right now.
So your franchise conference is amazing, first off.
Thank you.
Very, very cool things coming, and Big Chicken is doing, obviously, a huge things.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to go ahead and plug how Big Chicken is the best chicken brand, mine are, in the world.
You can't start that way.
You
can't put me number 2 on the Family Feud board right off the bat. But, I think one of the things that makes Big Chicken really special is it's an entire ecosystem, right? We're not just here with our franchisees. We have all of our vendors, all of our partners, everyone that helps Big Chicken grow every day is in one roof with the same objective, which is setting Big Chicken up for success to close out 2024 and into 2025 and beyond.
So in full disclosure, so everybody knows, I am an advisor and on their advisory board, so I do love Big Chicken. Food is amazing. Leadership is amazing. Incredible franchise, great people. And the franchisees are getting a chance to win, which is something I drive home on a continual basis. Why does Big Chicken feel their franchisees need to win? And what is your mission to make sure they're continually to hit not only the top line, because top line is great, but the bottom line?
Yeah. So, for us, and we talk about it a lot, there needs to be 4 wins every day in every restaurant, right? Your guests need to win. They need the best absolute food and service possible so that they have smiles on their face, and that's what Big Chicken's about. We're about creating smiles. Your franchisees need to win, right? Their pro forma needs to make sense. They need to be proud of the business that they've bought into. They need to have a clear and transparent ecosystem. They need to be able to co-create the future of the brand with you. Your suppliers also need to win, unless they're taking price increases. Then all bets are off. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Yeah. No, but your suppliers need to win too, right? They need forecasting. They need the ability to show off innovation. They need the ability to partner with us so they win too. And we obviously need to win as a company. I think what sets us off from the rest is we have one sole business objective, and that sole business objective is a maniacal focus on our franchisees' unit level economics to a point that I brought in the last year. Every single element of this system, not just chicken and breading. I mean, we literally have on board calls talked about the cost of lids of ramekins. We've talked about straws. Any penny we could shave out of this system that we could put into marketing, any way we can grow this thing, top line and bottom line, by either adding AUV or taking costs out of the system, we're willing to look at doing what's right for the system long term.
100% agree. And I've seen that firsthand. So, you guys are whatever you
maniacal.
Yeah. I don't like that word, but that's fine. All the time. So with your franchisees and as you continue to develop your system, growing pains are going to continue to come up. With those growing pains, how do you feel you need to tackle them and be forefront with your franchisees on the stuff that's going on?
Yeah, growing pains are because of that. It's growth, right? I've said it to our franchise system last year at this meeting. We're a 6-year-old company. We're effectively a first grader, right? Like Chick-fil-A at 6 years old was still a menu item at the Dwarf Grill in Hapeville, Georgia, right? You have to grow into yourself. No system, no brand has ever gotten it right on the first go, right? You led Jimmy John's for years and years. You guys were continuously tweaking the system.
No, we were always fucking perfect.
No, you weren't.
Always. Day one.
Yeah.
5 meats, 1 cheese, 2 bread doughs.
So
Never
great.
changed.
So great.
It was perfect. Easy.
No, but every brand needs continuous improvement, and that's what we're about, continuous improvement. And if you're focused on continuous improvement and you're focused on listening and getting feedback from your franchisees, you in the long run will get it. And before we took on this focus, a maniacal focus, we had franchisees telling us exactly what needed to be done. We weren't quite ready yet to listen. Those things happen in a partnership. The minute we started listening, things started unlocking and really great growth started to happen within the system.
And that growth is continual and will continue if your franchisees win. And that is the most important thing in the franchise model is they'll make sure they win.
100%. If you're trying to franchise and your pro forma isn't working, you need to really take the steps to make sure you do whatever you can to make that pro forma work to the best of your ability in all the right ways.
So with that, there's a lot of talk in groups. Should you be corporate owned and heavy corporate, or should you be franchise? Everybody knows my opinion that the franchise model is the American dream. Why did Big Chicken decide to franchise instead of just going corporately?
Yeah, I mean, remember, Shaquille was a franchisee of 155 locations of various systems. He was in Five Guys, Papa John's, Krispy Kreme, some gyms, right? He wanted to help people create wealth, and he wanted to build a legacy. And, you know, Shaquille and his mama, Lucille, they refer to this as the O'Neal family business. For them, they're looking at this saying, if we can work with a big group of people, build a big chicken ecosystem, and help people leave their legacy, that's what we want to do. And that's what we wake up for every single day.
So I love that. That is exactly why I do it. And that's so cool that Shaq has the same principles of making people rich that I do.
Shaquille said once, he said, you know, I heard this dude, Gregg Majewski, once talk, and I realized that this is my future moving forward.
We're going to get
By
him
the
to
way,
say that
that's
tomorrow.
not what he's ever said, so don't put that as a direct quote in some, you know, crave-worthy
We're going to
investor
get him
relations
to say
deck.
that tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's your job, Sean.
He'd be like, hey, bro, who's Greg?
So what is it like working with a NBA legend and one of the biggest personalities in America today, and having his brand to be the one that you have to control? What's the additional pressure that you feel by having to represent him day in and day out?
Yeah, I mean, first thing, I genuinely love Shaquille O'Neal. Like, I love...
That's not what you told me last Friday.
Oh, stop. I love Shaquille because he's the most authentic person you've ever met. And I recognize that every day I'm building this brand in his name, image, and likeness, and he's our largest shareholder, and it's really important to his family. Like I said, Mama Lucille refers to it as the family business. That's critical. But the best part, the funniest part, the craziest part, he sometimes texts, he never calls, he FaceTimes. And there's nothing more jarring in all the right ways when you're like sitting at home or out with friends or in an airport or whatnot, and all of a sudden you get FaceTime. Shaquille O'Neal is FaceTiming you, right? And about 2 months ago, I was actually out to lunch. I was quickly doing an errand, and he FaceTimes me, and I'm standing at the counter of a fast food restaurant, and he said, and you can't not pick up Shaquille's call, right? Because you may never get him back for some time. And he's like, yo, bro, where you at? I said, you're going to laugh. He goes, where you at? I said, Panda Express. I was literally at the counter of a Panda Express. He said, you order yet? I said, no. He said, turn your phone. Turn the phone. The person behind the counter starts freaking out. And he goes, hey, this is my boy. He'll have orange chicken, fried rice, and an egg roll. And if he tells you he wants something different, he wants orange chicken, fried rice, and an egg roll. And it's that level of humor and authenticity. That's who he is. It's just it's a privilege to work with him. I genuinely have so much love and care for the guy.
Yeah, all the stories I've heard you guys talk about him and the way he interacts, it's wonderful when a celebrity is what he appears to be on TV, and that's what you get here, which is very cool.
We just filmed a massive amount of content with him and his mama Lucille and his daughter Tahira at the Pepsi Innovation Studios, and he asked us, he said, where's the script? And we said, no script. So what do you mean no script? We'll tell you what we want you to talk about. You do you. You just be yourselves, because this brand is about you guys. And, you know, if I used to write copy for him to read stuff, and he'd be like, man, this reads like a white boy wrote it. I'd be like, well, there's a reason for that, right? And we just let them go for it, right? And the content that we're going to be bringing out this fall is phenomenal because of that raw level of authenticity.
I'm Gregg Majewski, and I've been a multi-unit operator for 26 years. I know how great it feels owning the right franchise brand, but choosing the right franchisor feels even better. At Craveworthy Brands, our hospitality-driven culture sets us apart because we're invested in your success at every single stage of your journey. We're operators alongside you, paving the way forward to give you a head start on greatness. Start your franchise journey at craveworthybrands.com. Yeah, I saw a little bit of it while I was sitting in the room today, and a little bit of dancing. You know,
a little bit of dancing.
A little bit of dancing, which is going to be hysterical and well received.
I think so.
So with the economy and with sort of the downturn, because I also like to make sure we actually talk about what's really going on, and your plug's over. What are the economy doing to the restaurants? What headwinds are you guys facing? How are you telling your franchisees, or more importantly, your own stores, to get through these challenges today?
I think one of the toughest things right now is a lot of chains are starting to deep discount, right? And when you're in this business, there's really three cost numbers that matter. Technically four if you count the cost to build, but people look at occupancy costs, food costs, and labor costs. And when you start dropping your price, your food costs go up, and that puts a lot of pressure on both top line and bottom line for the system. So figuring out ways that aren't deep discounting but want drive traffic into the store, it's just so vitally important because one chain does a $5 combo meal, and then I saw 2 days ago another chain's doing a $4 combo meal, and then you're like, it's that scene in There's Something About Mary where it's like, what's next, the $3 combo meal? No, that's crazy, or is it, right?
It's not, and he's just afraid to call out the two companies that did that. McDonald's is the 5 and
Carl's Jr.
is the 4. Again, the price wars will continue and always continue.
Yeah.
And it makes it hard for a franchisee to make money when you price that hard, and that's why those franchisees start to revolt. You have to get transactions so high to make that type of discount pricing work.
Yeah, when you deep discount, it's because you don't truly understand the value that you put into the guest experience, right? If people are willing to spend more, if they leave with a smile on their face, if they love the food, if they feel like they were treated right, obviously there's a relative point where that breaks, right? You're not going to say, do I want to spend $50 on a fast food hamburger versus a $5? But people are willing to pay more to be treated the right way. And, we genuinely believe that if every guest that comes in leaves with a smile on their face, they'll come back.
So has Big Chicken done anything to combat pricing and the economy today?
Yeah, I mean, we've done some type deals, a couple things on third-party delivery, a couple of things. We haven't dived into deep discounting yet. We don't want to if we can avoid it because, again, when your sole objective is a maniacal focus on your franchisees' unit-level economics, right? I can't do something that runs counter to that business objective, right? We need to be focused on the best guest experience, and we need to be focused on their P&L, and these things work in a cycle because those guests continually coming back help drive their unit level economics. It's a race to the bottom the minute you start deep discounting.
So what about menu engineering or a new menu line to try to bring your ticket average down so it is affordable to the everyday consumer?
Yeah, I mean, look, we are announcing at this conference, we're coming out with a all-white meat kind of chicken. We're calling them dunks in honor of Shaquille. We're coming out with the chicken wing line as well, but it's not to drive price down. It's to drive better value for the guest experience, drive more occasions.
Very cool. So when you're hiring, and you're constantly hiring as you're growing as fast as you are, what's the sales pitch to get someone to come and work here?
You want to work for Shaq? No, look, at the end of the day, we get a lot of interest in the company because of Shaquille, but we also get a lot of interest in the company because of our values, right? We try to have big fun every day. We try to have tough conversations every day, and not in a way where it's like this, but we believe in just being candid and honest and transparent and working together to solve problems. So we're really fortunate that we brought on some rock stars in the team in the last recent months, and we have a few more hires to make this year. And you just keep building the team to the best of your ability, but you got to build with folks that share the same values as the company, because every hire you bring in is either a potential benefit or a threat to the culture that you've worked so hard to build.
So how quick do you cut somebody if they're not the right fit?
It depends on why they're not the right fit, right? If there's a technical reason why they're not the right fit, we're going to work with that person, try to see if they could get there. If we feel like someone's not living to our values, and by the way, that's not just our internal team, that could be franchisees too. Franchisees that are hurting the system because they're not doing the right thing, or suppliers not doing the right thing. If you're not exhibiting the values of Big Chicken, you cannot be a part of the Big Chicken ecosystem. You may be great, but somewhere else.
Very true.
Yeah.
What do you look for in your next hire? Now, I know there's a hire that needs to be made, so what areas should people be looking for when you post? Or where should they go when you post these new jobs?
Yeah, I mean, look,
I'm not taking it no matter what you ask.
Yeah, I've been trying, but you just keep buying brands so damn fast, but it's, we post all of our roles on LinkedIn, right? That's the way we've been doing it right now because we want to be interfacing with the community every single day. as we grow, the two areas we're going to be spending the most amount of attention on are operations and marketing, right? Because if the store operations are right and we're driving the point of desire in marketing, you start to build that cycle of consumers getting excited about the brand, trying the food, getting excited about the food and experience through the operations, being reminded about the brand, and you start that cycle and you just rev up that cycle.
Okay. Last line of questions.
Okay.
What are you most excited about for the next couple of years in the restaurant industry, not Big Chicken?
I think the consumer is at this interesting crucible where they're telling us, hey, it's not just about dine in, right? It's all of it. It's first party, it's third party, it's kiosk, it's digital, it's all of it. I'm really excited that the kiosk that we're launching has Shaquille integrated into it.
Man, he couldn't stop with Big Chicken, could he?
I know, I can't. But at the end of the day, I think that we're going to get better at marketing these channels, right? Because if we're being honest, the pandemic made these things accelerate faster than the industry was ready for. Then there was a correction. But now as we catch up, you start to say, why shouldn't the guest have the same cool experiential cues in online ordering that they get in the restaurant? Why shouldn't the guest feel just as empowered and excited on third party as they are on first party, as they are in the restaurant or in the drive-through lane? So I think things are going to get really, really cool. I think we're going to figure out the right way to connect with the Gen Z consumer as an industry because they're different. They're different than Gen X. They're different than Gen Y. And as we do that, we're going to remind society that first, this is an incredible industry to work for and work in. And second, we can be highly, highly relevant and we can drive brand loyalty. We just haven't figured out how to drive brand loyalty with Gen Z yet as an overall industry. But the keyword's yet.
So do you think people will come back to eating in the restaurant, or the shrinking of the box going to continue?
You know, it's really interesting. I think that when you look at Gen Z and you look at Gen Alpha, and Gen Alpha is like teenagers, right? They spent their elementary school years eating at home because it was the pandemic. They couldn't go out. So that's the behavior they learn. Like when you and I were kids, it was a big deal when mom and dad were like, hey, we're going out to dinner Sunday night, right? Now that big deal it's a big deal when we order this food, but we're perfectly comfortable eating it in the house. I think like anything, people will start to come into restaurants more, right? Things will balance out. But I think we need to be prepared that growing sales means multiple channels.
100% agree. All right, last plug. Where can they find you and Big Chicken?
You can normally find me next to Gregg Majewski at the majority of conferences that we co-attend.
True.
Big Chicken, right now we're in 19 states. We're in a whole bunch of arenas. We're on 4 Carnival cruise ships. So, you know, if you want to take a cruise solely to eat Big Chicken, it's a great way to spend the family vacation. But we're coming soon to a place near you. We have a bunch more units to open this year and a bunch next year. And we continue to bring on really, really talented franchisees. And we're starting global expansion. So it's we're really excited to be in this moment, and we're really excited for what the future holds.
And if they want a franchise, they go to
bigchicken.com/franchise-information, or just call Sam Stanovich. Just call him. Tell him Gregg Majewski said he should call him directly. In fact, this is Sam's number right here. We could do that in post-edit, right?
For sure.
This is Sam
Right
Stanovich's
there.
number right here. Call Sam and tell him you heard from Gregg and Josh, and you want to be a Big Chicken franchisee.
Wonderful. You've got to go. You got 5 minutes to get back on stage. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming, brother.
Always. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey viewers, thanks again for supporting Room for Seconds. If you found this episode inspiring, interesting, or any bit informative, please hit that little subscribe button down at the bottom so you never miss an episode. In my 26 years in this amazing industry, I've been blessed with incredible mentorship. This show is my way of giving back. Follow me on LinkedIn, search Gregg Majewski, on Twitter, @Gregg_Majewski. If you still have room for more, visit our website at media.craveworthybrands.com. You'll find more videos, shows, notes, blogs, resources, and an easy way to get in touch with the Craveworthy Brands team. I'm your host, Gregg Majewski. Thanks again for tuning in to Room for Seconds.